Hello, hello. I don't know about you, but I am so incredibly excited for summer. Even though I'm working full time, I love the weather that comes with summer and the longer daylight hours. It means more fresh air and more sunshine, and we all know that I love sunshine. I'm sure you're surprised that I'm posting my bullet journal setup for the next month so early, and hey, even I'm surprised that I'm early for once and not procrastinating my setup. So let's not delay any longer. Grab your journal or a snack and come plan with me. My theme for June is going to be based around peaches, which are a perfect and refreshing fruit for summer. I started off this theme with a digital art piece of a peach that I'm going to print into stickers to use throughout my spread. If you're interested in the actual setup, then you can use the timestamps to skip ahead, but if not, I'll explain how I drew this peach and you can enjoy this little time lapse of the digital art. To begin, I want to apologize for the darker lighting. I made it a little bit darker in hopes that you could see the iPad screen better. For the peach drawing, I started with the pencil brush to sketch the rough shape of the peach. The base shape is going to be a heart, and I made sure to utilize the quick shape feature by drawing the curve and holding it to make the smooth curves. After that, I took one side of the top of the heart and extended the curve down towards the center of the heart. After that, I drew an approximate sketch of where the stem of the peach would go, as well as these pointed ovals for the leaves of the peach. I also just did a quick sketch of where I wanted some more highlighting to go. One thing to note is that I drew each of these shapes on different layers so that I could rearrange them easily. Next, I switched to the monoline brush and started going over the sketch with the peach color. Then I just dragged and dropped the color to fill in the shape quickly. I did the same with a green color for the leaves. The stem, on the other hand, took me a while to find the correct shape that I wanted. I just kept redrawing it until I was satisfied with it. After that, I turned on Alpha Lock for each layer so that I could do some shading easily. I switched the brush to the soft airbrush and chose a darker shade of pink. I used this circular motion from outside of the shape and slowly moved the circular motion inwards to really build up the shading. Then I switched over to the smudge brush to blend those colors together. I took that darker color and also drew the line on the inside of the peach. One thing to note is that the color and shading wasn't super noticeable once it was printed. I think part of it is that I chose colors too close in shade for the printer to distinguish well. I did something similar for the leaves and the stem by adding shading with a darker color and smudging the colors to blend them together. And now, since I will be using a Cricut to cut out the stickers, I will just be drawing a white outline around the peach so that the line will be easily recognized by the Cricut on where to cut. I'm just using the monoline brush for this. It was really important to draw the border pretty wide because I'll be shrinking these down to small stickers to use in my journal. I've been experimenting more with shading in digital art, so I'm actually really happy with how this piece turned out with the shading. I definitely still have a ways to go, but I feel like this is a really good first step, especially on a simple piece like this. I will also be leaving a link in the description where you can easily download this design if you'd like to use it in your setup. Please tag and share it with me on my social media if you do. I really love seeing your recreations. After I exported the art as a PNG, I took the image and duplicated it a bunch of times using Photoshop. For easy use, I've also uploaded that file for you. But I simply imported the file into the Cricut Design Space, printed out the image, and then let the Cricut do the work of cutting out all of the peaches. There are plenty of tutorials on YouTube that explain how to use the Cricut, so I'm going to skip over that part, but this is the Cricut Explorer Air 2 in the color Lilac. I really love the color of this machine, and I'm really happy with its performance. Definitely remember to calibrate your Cricut before you use it. I'm also still experimenting with it, so I haven't found the perfect pressure to use for the blade. So you'll see that some of the cuts were a little too deep on the page. It still worked out fine for me though. Now let's flip back and get started on the bullet journal setup. For this setup, I was really inspired by Kat's Planner here on YouTube. I couldn't get her lemons on blue tiles theme out of my head, so I decided to recreate it with peaches instead. Peaches are one of my favorite fruits, and I also realized that I had so many stickers that dealt with peaches, so I decided that it was time and that I was going to use them throughout my journal with this theme. I started by sectioning off the area that I was going to watercolor with washi tape. Then I just used the ultramarine pale blue to watercolor the area. I did it really quickly with as minimal of water as I could and using a swirling motion. It's okay to have the more uneven watercoloring because it makes it more interesting to be a little more textured. Then I'm setting aside my journal with a paper towel in between it to soak up the extra water and to make sure that the journal dries flat. In the meantime, I am using a blank sheet of paper to letter the title for the month. After the base lettering, I went back in with a darker shade towards the top of each downstroke and then took my lighter shade to blend the colors together by pulling the darker color downwards. I finished with a thin drop shadow using an orange color, adding gold details to each letter and cutting out the lettering. Going back to the journal, I removed the washi tape and added lines to make a grid pattern. I was freehanding the lines and didn't make them too perfect by leaving some gaps while drawing the lines. After that, I drew a border with a brown fine liner around the page before taping the lettering for the month of June down and adding the peach stickers over the tiles. There isn't really any pattern to where I placed the peaches, and I think that's what makes this theme so fun. I also added some details using my gold pen. I added a combination of sparkles and dots to give this theme a bit more color and to add this dreamy summer vibe. And that is it for the cover page. Moving on to the quote page, I decided to choose a Bible verse for this month. The verses are Galatians 5:22-23, and they say, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law." I wanted to list out these 9 traits as a reminder to myself throughout the month of June of the behaviors that Christians display as a result of the Holy Spirit working in their lives. I've always tried to live with the mindset to be kind and to love others, but I want to work on also ingraining the other attributes into my heart, mind, and soul. It's also a reminder to me that these traits only come from being transformed by the Spirit, and in order for that to happen, I need to focus on my relationship with Christ first. Something that I've struggled with the past couple of months has been doing daily quiet times to continue my spiritual growth. I have a life group that I attend every week and a Bible study call with a friend weekly, but the quiet time is something that I found during Lent to improve my mental health and to also just make my days better. I want to get back into more frequent quiet times so that I can continue to display the fruit of the Spirit. The Bible verse lettering turned out really cute and a little magical from all of the gold detailing. I also like the contrast in the fonts, so I'm excited to have this as encouragement and as a reminder throughout the next month. On the monthly, I wanted to keep to the tiles theme and wanted it to look like the calendar was overlapping the tiles. So I started with sectioning off parts of the calendar and watercoloring and lettering the word June. I decided to letter it twice so that I could choose whichever one fit better with the spread. I used the second one later anyway. I think it might have been better to do all of the lettering at once, but it worked out letting the journal dry while I spent the time lettering. You'll see that I started using the same sort of routine when doing each of these spreads by doing the watercolor first, then lettering, followed by the basic fine liner, adding in the stickers, and finishing it with gold details. One of the things I love the most about bullet journaling is this detailed repetition. I find it relaxing to just turn on music and work on my journal. It also helps to clear my mind. I used my circle stencil to create labels for each of the days of the week on this calendar before adding in the days of the week at the top and then using my fine liner to add the lines to the calendar. One thing that I love about this theme is the contrast between the hand-drawn look of the tiles with the minimal and clean lines drawn by the fine liner. I'm finishing off this page with an additional sticker from Milky & Co Studios and the gold detailing. I think these circles are absolutely adorable, and this orange one makes me think of the summer sun. Then I decided to cut off the extra area on the calendar to create a Dutch door. I don't even really know what to call this next section, but I just wanted a space for planning and tracking. I also just really wanted to make a Dutch door on my monthly, so this is the outcome. This page can be divided into 4 sections. First, I added a content planning section for Instagram so that I will hopefully post more frequently. The table is divided with a row for each day of the month, and then the columns are a section for the post, shooting the photo, editing the photo, adding the watermark, and posting the photo. I don't know if I'll like this section or use it that much because when it comes to posting on Instagram, I usually do it very spontaneously when I feel like posting. The next section is the video editing schedule. I am trying to post more frequently on YouTube because I have a large number of videos that I want to finally get through editing and to catch up on so that I can work on new content. So hopefully this will encourage me to finish those videos and to stick to the posting schedule in June. This table is divided into sections for the name of the video, whether I filmed the footage, done the voiceover, edited the video, and uploaded it. I will obviously break down what needs to be done for each video in my sections for tasks during the week, but this is just for a basic overview. After that is just a habit tracker that I'm sure you've seen me draw way too many times. I'm going to keep tracking the same 6 habits for now, which are doing quiet times, learning Chinese, doing skincare, drinking water, working out, and cooking my meals. I've definitely been slacking on these habits, but even if I don't use this section, I like the reminder of things that I should be doing. I am proud to say that I have been working out as planned. I can't actually tell if I've gotten any stronger, but I do think that it's good for both my mental and physical health. The last section is where I will be writing my monthly goals. I had these adorable peach sticky notes that I wanted to use. So once I write down my monthly goals on it, I will tape or glue this down into the journal. I'm really interested to see if I like these extra spreads and whether or not they will help with my productivity. Bullet journaling allows for so much flexibility in choosing what you need to be most productive, so I really love that. The next spread that I made is this really simple mood tracker that will have a square for every day drawn around the painted tile. I lettered the title of the page, and I'm definitely still working on my lettering to be more consistent, but for now I think it looks alright. I'm using Tombows for this lettering, and they are currently my favorites. I do have other brush pens, but I haven't really gotten used to using them yet. After that, I outlined the squares for the mood tracker, and doing this made the tile look a lot like the bottom of a swimming pool. I'm going to be tracking my mood with 5 different colors. The lighter colors will be for a not-so-great day, and the darker colors will be for a good day. I think it was in one of Amanda Rachley's videos where she said something about how you should use darker colors on good days to make them stand out more. I like that positive mindset of having your good days stick out, so I'll be doing that for this mood tracker. I finished up with my stickers and finishing touches for this mood tracker. I started on the 1 line a day spread with painting the tiles and lettering the title when I realized that I had forgotten to add the drop shadow to the previous few titles. Now I know in the past videos I kept mentioning that 2 lines a day was a good amount to get you in the habit of journaling each day, but I thought I'd cut it down to 1 line a day because I wanted to see if I would like the 1 line a day more than the 2 lines a day. It'll be less space, but it will hopefully make me reflect more on what I want to write down for each day rather than just writing to fill the space. I feel like I won't have any strong opinion on which one I like better, but I guess we'll see at the end of next month. This whole theme is pretty minimalistic and simple, especially with using stickers to fill the space. Now on to the last spread of this video. I'll be doing one of my weekly setups for this journal. I've already filmed the rest of my weeklies for June as well, and I can say that all of the others have a similar design but have slightly different layouts. I started out the same as all of the other spreads with watercoloring across the center of the page and lettering the word June. When I pulled off the washi tape, there was a tiny bit of paint that went over the edge of the washi tape. It's totally fine though because I'm going to use the stickers to cover up that spot. Then I'm going to be bringing back the circle labels from the monthly layout for the dates. I also highlighted the top where I'll write the days of the week. I mentioned at the beginning of this video that I have many stickers and stationery that have peaches or are peach colored. Those stickers inspired this theme because I wanted to incorporate the stickers into my spreads. I decided that for each of the weeklies I was going to include one of those stickers. All of the stickers that I'm using in this setup were either the ones that I made or are from some small business owners that I've met in the bullet journaling community. I'm going to talk about it more when I set up the rest of the weekly spreads, but for this weekly I'm using an adorable Totoro sticker with a peach sitting on his head. This was a sticker from the Studio Peachy set from my friend's shop designed by Chris. She's super awesome and I'm sure she'd love it if you check out her other stickers. She has a lot of really adorable designs. I just finished off the spread with some more peach stickers and some gold sparkle details, and now the spread is complete. This simple peach theme was so much fun to work on because I got to do a little bit of everything from digital art to lettering to watercoloring to scrapbooking with washi tape and stickers. I know some people have one particular art style that they excel in, but I definitely like the freedom to explore a bunch of them. Let me know in the comments what your opinion on this theme is or what your favorite fruit is. I'm hoping to get into a more frequent schedule of posting here on YouTube so that I can bring you more content. Until then, as always, thank you for watching and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!